playing together now as one unit, and that's exactly what you need. As we are going to go into this pick ban, and I think this is going to be really interesting to see where we go for both of these teams.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see this as well, because right now it feels like Lilia is the really common new first pick. It's very much, you know, if left open, the jungle pick everyone is going towards right now. And that's something that, you know, we have seen Canyon play quite a lot in the past, but Dread looks extremely impressive on. So for Damwon Kia, if you don't ban this on blue side, I think you're giving it over to Afreeca. So the first pick Kai'Sa we see from them so often doesn't feel as comfortable here against Dread to me. I mean, he could play the Lilia as well, we know that, but I'm scared of what this team can accomplish when they get an early Lilia pick and draft around that.
Yeah, Lilia definitely a big point of contention. We see Aurelia is extremely popular, especially against Gnar nowadays. But we saw it yesterday against Sion, and Summit actually used that as one of the reasons why they were able to defeat Gen G in a 2-0. So definitely one of those picks that if you're looking to play some kind of tank, like a Sion, a Gnar up in the top side, get rid of the Aurelia, because people are beginning to realize that it is huge in that matchup, and Keen he'll absolutely pick that up.
Yeah, he definitely will. So they don't ban the Udyr. They actually leave that open here. So I wonder, because there's two different ways you can approach this, right? One is to get the Lilia, which actually Damwon Kia will prioritize even over the Kai'Sa here. And the other now is you have Udyr, and you can pick up the Camille with it. The problem with that, though, is I think Damwon Kia would be very happy to just put Khan on Sion again against your Camille Udyr and sit up on weak side and just sit back and relax, right? So a lot of teams would definitely grab that duo right now with Udyr left open, but I don't think against Damwon Kia that's necessarily the choice you want to make. And since they banned away the Syndra, solid target ban on Showmaker, it leaves the Lilia open here. So I think Damwon Kia are very happy with how this started, and they will get the Udyr. The question is, will they grab the Camille right now or kind of wait this one out?
Yeah, the Udyr seems pretty obvious. You know, the question is, do we see the Camille? Do we see something else picked up here for the side of Afreeca? Keen has a pretty interesting champion pool. He's one of the top laners that actually still is willing to play like AP tops and stuff like that, as Thresh is actually prioritized here. So they're going to grab that for Lehen second.
Yeah, this is really interesting, because now if Damwon Kia are expecting that Camille pairing, you know, we've seen Aurelia work well with this. We've seen Renekton work well with this Udyr on the top side of the map. If you do want to grab that, you wait till the third rotation. You could ban the Sion in second rotation, because Damwon Kia can't counterpick because they have their two picks here. As they will pick up the Lucian, something that's really growing in popularity, works very well with the Lilia. And they're hovering a Jace here blind. That would be a really interesting choice. I don't think you want to go down that path. And Varus will get locked in.
What are we looking at here? This is really weird, to be honest. The Lucian definitely looking like something that's going to go into a solo lane, but then the follow-up of a Varus. And, I mean, you look at what they have already. It's a lot of range. It's a lot of squishy champions on the side of DK. Bang is thinking about a Jinx, and with the Thresh coming in, you know, it kind of leans yourself that way.
You're not going to have mid-prio with the Lucian, very likely. You know, we don't know what Afreeca is going to pick yet. They will lock in the Jinx. We don't know what the mid lane is going to be, but we know that, you know, obviously Showmaker is going to be playing the Lucian. So it's interesting that they decide to forego controlling the top lane, because now I think Camille, if it was ever going to be picked, there's a pretty high chance of getting banned away here. And the Udyr pick suddenly feels very weak, especially when you're not going to have mid-prio and you're not necessarily going to have top controlled either. Let's see what Damwon Kia banned. They're actually not focusing on the top lane. They're just going to take away Fly's Victor.
Yeah, they'll take away the Victor, and Sion's gone completely ignored so far. I thought this would be pretty high prio for both of these teams. I mean, Fly also showed that he could play it at the mid lane, and Khan plays it all the time, so to have it just slip through so far is pretty interesting. I wonder if one team will ban it away or not, but they're actually going to prio ban the Gnar over that.
Well, I think that if they had any intention of playing Camille, that, you know, this Sion counterpick is going to be there, and now they they don't ban the Sion, so it's like, are you not going to play a strong, you know, heavy, aggressive champion that's going to pair with the Udyr on the top side of the map? Because we know they're not going to have mid prio. They lost the Victor and the Orianna as well now for mid. So this unfortunately, this Udyr pick, I feel like, is the weak link in this draft already, because it's going to be hard to actually get value and sort of snowball this champion that needs to get an early advantage, or often does really fall off with the champions that are left open for them. And like, you could still pick the Camille here, but they can now pick the Scion.
How about Scion? I feel like
Pantheon.
Scion would be really good here, but instead it's Pantheon.
I like the Pantheon too, actually, for different reasons. You're not going to have the same sort of insane fast split push, sort of composition with this, but you still have the ability to rotate inwardly and help deal with the mid pressure that Lucian's going to put off. So I like it. Once he hits 6, he's going to be able to help out a lot dealing with that Lucian pressure and the kill pressure that comes along with it.
What are we picking here?
It's Scion, of course.
Yeah. It falls through, and Kana's like, he takes a quick yawn. Scion, actually, to me, he's a beefy boy, but I don't feel like he's very boring, right? His engage is really flashy. He actually does a lot of damage as well, so Kana has a really high damage per minute stat because he plays so much Scion. And we also have Gragas coming in here. And it's Nasus! Oh, it's happening! And
all right, Pantheon mid, I guess.
Oh.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Afreeca Freecs, I don't think you had to play it out like this, but you certainly are throwing 2 big curveballs into this draft.
We were just talking about this yesterday, too. Me and Crackler are talking about, like, picks that you never see, but that would be good into Scion, right? And we were thinking about Vlad. He actually mentioned Nasus, and it actually gets picked here.
I mean, this has been clearly prepared, right? Because you know that it's very likely you're going to see the Scion. You show the Pantheon too, and it feels like, okay, well, they've already showed their cards. I can play the Scion into the Pantheon. It feels good. But then they flex the Pantheon mid, and they have this secret pick that has been actually hovered quite a bit in LCK drafts. It's not the first time we've seen this be considered. In some ways I felt like, well, this is just like a troll hover or something, but it has been hovered like quite a while. It's been hinted at, and now it's actually being locked in for real. So it's a good matchup, as you say. You just stack up there, and you're going to actually scale very well in this matchup later on. So I like this a lot, but I don't know how well it pairs with the Udyr here, because it's still going to be a tough time for Pantheon in the mid lane. If that matchup goes sour, the Udyr is still going to struggle to find value. So that's where I worry here for Afreeca Freecs. The Varus pick is also another one of those choices where I'm like, all right, Ghost, let's see what you got. This is an old one, and not relevant really recently, even with a recent buff. I mean, it doesn't feel like people were going to be picking him.
We haven't really seen him much at all, but they take away his Senna, and he gets angry, and he picks Varus instead. So very curious about how that will go in the bottom side. As we do hop onto the Rift for Game 1, another reason why this matchup was so hype is because Afreeca likes to pick fun stuff from time to time. They like to flex a lot of picks, and as we can see, the Nasus in the top lane is going to be one of those fun picks.
I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the how many days it's been.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like in massive anticipation for that.
Do you think it's in the thousands, or
I think
it'll stay in the hundreds?
I think it'll hit 1,000. Right? Like, I can't remember, unless somebody picked it.
1,000 is a lot of days. 1,000 is
3 years basically.
Yeah,
in there.
3 years.
Almost 3 years. I'm feeling like it's going to be a while. They're still counting the days right now.
Yeah. They got to go back very far to find when the last time was.
As soon as the Nasus was locked in, the first thing production did was call Afreeca, make sure it wasn't a misclick. Then the second thing they did was check the days.
I'm no Papa Smithy, but I feel like it was played like 2 years ago. I don't know. It's just like this memory is left in my mind. We'll see. We'll see if it's just if it was just a dream or what it was. But we will have to wait for that stat. And of course, the idea behind it, guys, is that Scion sits there and he's just a tank that you cannot move.
Yeah.
But you also have a lot of freedom yourself to kind of just farm it out. He doesn't put on that much pressure. So we're actually having a bit of a trade down in the bottom side very early on. Exhaust is going to be used, and Barrel's like, okay, whatever. I'll just walk away from that one. So a good trade in favor of DK, as we're having lane swaps as well.
Swaps are coming through here as well. Not something I even noticed right away since we were going this, because I was just waiting for that stat card to come up. But yeah, this ends up being the matchup you want to play. Obviously, is going to be against the Scion as the Nasus, and then against the Pantheon, you 100% want to be Lucian there. So
yeah,
I mean, you
Nasus.
could be Sion there, but you definitely don't want to be Nasus against Lucian.
Yeah, that sounds just like death, actually.
That's what you don't want, right? So lane swaps can get you a bit of a tempo advantage in that regard.
Yeah. And I feel like the Pantheon into the Lucian is also just going to suffer. Not many things do well into Lucian. I mean, as you were saying, as a Freeca, you're never really going to have prio against the Lucian, so it's just like, you know, what do you do? Well, just have Fly, take it, essentially. We'll see how he does.
Yeah, this is a really smart play from Damwon Kia.
Oh, that's a nice hook.
That's
Gets
beautiful.
it in between, but they're trying to turn it around with the Ignite, but it is going to be the first blood given over to the Thresh, although Ghost is able to get a kill of his own.
Yeah, I think you'll take that if you're
Oh, yeah.
Ghost. If you're a Freeca, you know, that's not exactly how you wanted this situation to go. The hook was incredible, and they are trying to be extremely aggressive on this bottom side. But, you know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of damage you have to respect here in this Damwon Kia duo, and they flip it back.
Yeah, and the lane state was really important there. It was pushing into Ghost, so he could have just sat there and kind of froze it and denied a lot of CS away from Bang. So Lehens is forced to, you know, hard push it against the Varus so that he gets those minions down. And he actually delays the back, which is also really nice. As we do have a gank coming in onto Keen, but he is just fine with that phase
Yeah, he's
rush.
actually doing such a great job, too, in this mid lane. He's putting the pressure on, yet while also staying safe. He's playing a little bit of ping pong here in the lane. And, I mean, so far, you know, look, the top side of things is going to be very bad, and the Udyr is going to struggle to get kills. So it's just going to be a farming matchup there. But, I mean, all things considered, Freeca are really in a nice spot here. Outside of that bottom trade.
They got to swap back. As you, again, do not want to play Nasus into Lucian.
Yeah, it's going to cost them a wave in the top side, actually. So we're going to watch this again. Watch this hook, how incredible this is. Oh, it's actually not, it's not as good as I thought. The minion was dead. I thought he actually dodged the minion. So that's why we watch replays, guys.
What happened here?
You know, this is, I think,
Is this
just
the
that
gank?
gank timing where... Oh, he missed the swirl seed.
Our observers on point again as Bang on point, picking up a kill down in the bottom side. Gotta wonder if that's another hook into kill, as Beryl has basically been standing right in front of them with no fear. He's been punished a couple of times.
Yeah. Well, this is a fiery game. This is a fiery start to our amazing Saturday. Valdez. And you could see, you know, these lane swaps coming through. The Pantheon is the one who's hurting the most, right? Is definitely losing a lot of CS, constantly under kill pressure when the Lucian is there. And now you have the mismatch on the top side, so he needs to go there, but he's going to lose too much CS, which is why he hasn't. And this is over the wall. Chompers are ready. Sorry, man. Going down here.
Yep.
No way out of it. Perfectly played here by Lehens and Bang.
Good auto by Lehens just to make sure that the Jinx auto would get the kill. As this is what's going to happen. Keen is going to try to turn it around, though. Does he have the mana is the question. He's not actually going to go for the kill just yet. He will flash away. He's waiting for the Udyr to come in. But I don't know if he has waited enough time. I feel like he almost should have just gone for
Lehens
the
is
kill.
here, but he's spotted.
Yeah, this is a little bit too late. You can tell maybe the communication a little bit off there.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. I mean, Lehens was making the really long con play to come up.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Fly's dead. That could have even been a solo kill. Khan just lined him up and took him down.
Well, that's what happens when Thresh isn't there. You have so much lane prio and freedom to make plays like this. In Khan, you know, it feels like he didn't even sell it. He was like, no, I'm actually going to kill you.
Yeah.
And the proper respect wasn't shown.
Yeah. Fly, in that case, you just got to flash away.
Yeah.
Really the only way that you're going to survive there.
So this is, you know, just a replay of Keen almost trading this back. He actually commits in. Hits that fat damage, but I mean, he has to commit so far. I think he gets kited out either way. It's a little bit of an awkward situation where he flashes away now and then the Udyr just is so far away. They have to commit the sleep to kill him, but I mean, you're still very happy with this. I think he could have been a little bit more decisive on the retreat or the commit. As this time, it's like, okay, Barrel's here, and you have to respect this. He doesn't flash. and as a result dies. He keeps his flash, consolation prize.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
We're going to keep this wave right here.
That's just, you know, Fly had to be a little bit safer. And you can see that Damwon have successfully set up the lanes to the point where Afreeca cannot get the lane setup that they're looking for.
Exactly.
Chopper's not going to come in and land onto Ghost, but you can see that this bottom lane is going really well so far. Lehens is kind of just owning it by himself, essentially, and is really making a lot of space for Bang.
It's just really crazy how much Lucian can do for you in a game. Like, he gives you lane prio, can lane swap, give you an advantage. If you want to match the lane swaps, you're going to lose CS. If you don't match, you're going to have a hard time. You're under threat of dying with the Lilia rotating up faster. You know, things like that are really going to cost them in this early game.
All right, they're just going to go with the Rift Heralds here, and you can see that Damwon Barrel is making his way up, but you don't really have an inside track onto this one, Khan, with no ultimate available, actually. It's like 10 seconds away, and now he has to flash away, and Afreeca, that was perfect timing. They get in there when kind of all the pieces weren't together for Damwon, steal away the Rift Heralds. That's going to be fantastic for the early game.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of extra gold for them in this early game where things have kind of floundered otherwise. And, you know, look, Fly's caught up in CS pretty significantly here. I mean, if you think about how it was supposed to go, like, he's still significantly behind Showmaker, but he's at the same as Khan, so it's not a terrible situation here with the swaps that happen.
Yeah, no, it's actually really great. I mean, the Nas is farming up quite nicely up in the top side. Now you can see the way that the swaps have gone. It's an Nasus into Sion, and that's what you're looking for.
Yes.
So, gonna get back to farming.
Yeah, and, you know, Udyr, unfortunately...
There it is!
There it is, 980, just under 1,000.
So it was 3 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, 2018, almost 3 years ago. It's like 2 and like, you know, 2.8 years ago.
It was tall for SKT, actually, versus BBQ's Crazy. And Ghost.
They just put Ghost there to show us. Because he's playing today.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess so. Because Ghost was on that BBQ
on that
team.
team, yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
They're just putting it there because I don't think that was like a bot duo thing.
It's funny. It's funny because now he's back on Varus, right?
Yeah.
980 days later, in a game with Nasus again. Because like the last time that he played Varus was probably a long time ago. At least it was last split.
At least last year.
Yeah.
It was pretty popular last year. Very highly banned. Well, I mean, everything comes full circle, right? We've had Udyr in the LCK. Now maybe Nasus becomes a silent answer. Maybe it's not silent ban, it's just the Nasus pick coming back as a response. Is really aggressive play here yet again for Lehens. Needs to be careful.
Yeah, he has.
They want this Drake like super bad.
Yeah, they have great prio on the bot side, so Dread just able to kind of run on in here and take this down. He's going to have, obviously, a much easier time of taking these objectives compared to the Lilia, especially solo, so kind of just takes that one away, and this is huge for Afreeca. I mean, they get the Rift Herald, they get the Infernal Drake, their Nasus is scaling really well.
And at that exact moment in time where they put Dread onto the Drake, like actually Showmaker did not have priority. It's like Fly actually was at a faster track to rotate over if they tried to make that play happen. And now they're going to go ahead and toss this Rift Herald down. Everything is going well here for Afreeca in the early game. I mean, minus a little bit of lost CS with the lane swaps, and then they've caught up in that regard already. Bang going to get a ton of extra gold here on this Jinx. And, I mean, Jinx has come back in a big way. I mean, as it turns out, that extra health scaling is all she needed. And then it's like the pairing with Thresh is so strong that you have to be really careful on the bottom side of the map, otherwise things can run away from you.
Khan just casually stealing away the Raptors there.
Casually.
Doesn't look like he took the big Raptor, actually, so wants to make his way back up at the top side. There's always this pressure you feel when you have a Nasus in the game. It's like, man, he's free farming again.
And he's just going to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah, what do we do now? It's
the thing is,
scary thing.
He becomes like he's a very different type of threat than like a Camille that you're worried about like running around the map and just split pushing and crushing everything. He becomes this extremely tanky champion who also has kill pressure, so he's like, I don't know how to explain it, but Like, he could kill somebody straight up if someone tries to clear a ward and he's too close, you know what I mean? But he's also safe to do that because he himself is not that squishy. So he can be more places on the map, like super late in the game.
Yeah.
Than you would, a lot of other top laners would be able to beat.
It's kind of like he has good scaling, obviously, with his Q, as we might have a play up here in the top side. Keen not going to flash the ultimate. Now he does, and the missed bowling ball means that no follow-up will come through. And here we go again. Lahen's gonna find Beryl in the jungle this time. The cask is not good. And Fly just comes down to say hello. Actually, a huge amount of damage follow-up there from the Varus and the Gragas, but still not gonna pick up any kills. And Lahen's once again is absolutely owning the support matchup.
Ghost is alone here. There's a teleport for Showmaker, but if he hits another hook, I mean, this isn't over yet. He has to be very careful. He's actually leaving. He knows. Showmaker's just walking over, but
Fly's going for it. He has to execute damage, and Ghost will flash away, but that's what happens sometimes, Fly. You got to know that the rotation will be coming in, and he does go down. Actually gets a lot of space for his Jinx, so, you know, is it worth it in the end? Maybe. The Pantheon's not going to be the one that's farming up, but he does give, of course, another kill over to Showmaker.
Yeah, I think this is a situation where you could be very happy.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Gets a Lantern first, though.
Yeah, Thresh is a pretty good champion.
Yeah. But, you know, I think
Lance has just been smurfing today.
I think in that situation, you should just be happy that you're zoning Ghost out and you're going to get a turret. They got really greedy there in the follow-through because, like you said, you've got to know Showmaker is going to be coming. Now, the reason this works out so well, too, is because Showmaker actually backed right at this time, so he has no ability to rotate over and help. And then this is the Pantheon ult power. Just come through and make sure you have that extra cover. Then they decide to chase. I think you should be happy with this where you are now, but they commit the flash and the stun, because I think there's enough damage. There isn't, and then Showmaker trades it back. And even the thing is, even if he gets it, it's a trade, and Showmaker gets another kill. So I still don't agree with the choice very much.
Generally, we see most of our players not going for that. Fly is definitely another one of these guys that he will go for it.
Yeah,
Sees it, he's making the play. He's trying to make the play. We had Beryl flash again, and I don't know what's going on, but Lahen's is looking about twice as good as him, at least in this first game. So, you know, Beryl, obviously a fantastic player, but not in this first one compared to Lahen's and the game that he's playing on his Thresh. Pretty insane stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every time I say this, it just feels more and more true, but it's like the most ambitious crossover ever, right? Like, Lahen's the new best support, right, from the new era, with, like, one of the old best era 80
Lahen's
carries.
2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
He's back.
But it's so crazy to see these two players who were kings of their roles in very different eras of LCK end up being this extremely formidable bot duo. That at the beginning of the season, we were like, hey, they're pretty stable. They're not great, but they're okay. But now we're starting to say, well, these guys are pretty great, in fact.
Yeah. No, you know, it took a little bit of time, but that's the thing about spring, especially, and especially early spring. It's like, you know, come summer and come Worlds, it's not going to matter too much. There's another hook by Lahen's onto Beryl. It's like they're limited.
And Dread is just, he's going to lock this down.
Yeah. They're just demolishing Damwon Kia here in this early game. It is not very close, as now they're just getting invaded on, and Afreeca are taking everything. Damwon desperately trying to challenge a Cloud Drake, it looked like there, and they just got wrecked.
And Beryl is constantly roaming around. He's kind of leaving Ghost by the wayside. He's roaming around, and he keeps getting caught in vision. He keeps getting caught in hooks. And the follow-up there, the coordination between Bang and Lahen's is so great in these moments. And this time, Dread's even in on it, right? So you've got to be careful about the power of this composition's chain CC, because you get caught, sometimes you get locked into chompers, and then the Pantheon comes through, he's got a stun.
Yeah.
Then the Udyr is just like, nobody's going home. Nobody's getting out.
Everybody's stuck here with me. Lahen's, I think he actually got that cannon. Not 100% sure. But,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know, he's getting the cannon, he's making all the casters happy. Canyon is going to be able to pick up this second Rift Herald. So there's some good stuff that are happening here for the side of Damwon Kia, but obviously this fight was not it.
Yeah, no, this is Beryl getting caught, right? And then the ult comes through, and Canyon and Ghost just can't get away. So Canyon has to commit his sleep, and it's just not enough to save Ghost. He's going to get out just barely. But I mean, at the end of the day, you can't be challenging roaming around like this without vision, especially Beryl. It now has 4 deaths on this Gragas, and he keeps getting caught in the jungle, where Afreeca now has a lot of vision.
And Dread is so confidently just able to go wherever he wants because Lehens is everywhere, it seems, right? You're going to get a Lantern. You can actually go over the wall, clear out a control ward as Udyr because you just get Lanterned over the wall. And Afreeca's comp, you know, we talk about like primary themes, right? Stuff like poke or, you know, you have great pick or scaling, but I feel like they have a kind of a secondary theme. They have great chase, right? You're never getting away from this team. The Pantheon's going to jump on you. The Jinx gets really fast. The follow-up with Udyr, obviously, and the Thresh is insane. And Nasus, you know, with the phase rush, he's going to be running straight at you and withering everybody, so good luck getting away from that. It's going to be really interesting to see when these team fights begin.
Yeah, they don't think they have enough damage on the top side of the map to actually commit, but it looked like for a second they were going to consider all-inning Showmaker, but the Stride Breaker here actually as well for Fly. It's a little bit more gap close, a lot of extra damage to get onto the back line. It's really scary to think that Sion is the front line here, but he can be burst down, especially once Jinx goes to the later parts of this game. He doesn't live very long, and Damwon Kia really need to rely on sleeps for their engages.
Khan has been huge on these engages. The teleport is coming in. Do they have the damage to take Keen out? It kind of looks like it, but he flashes away. He's burning down, and he will, in fact, go down. And now Fly is getting chased down as well. And they're looking to dive, actually. Flash over the wall, and here comes Beryl. Lehens is going to save him as the cask will take him back.
Lehens is just trying to be the hero. He's like, guys, I'm 1-0-4 in this game. He's 80% kill participation, right? And he's always where he needs to be. It's not enough in this case. But yeah, I mean, this kind of lends into what I was saying. Damwon Kia, they have a comp they can get picks when they rotate like this, but in their team fights, I think the sleep is going to be the most important part of their engage. Because Afreeca Freecs have such a strong, you called it chase, I want to call it like chain CC. They have such a great way to, if the fight starts going their way, make sure it's guaranteed several kills. So at the start of the fight, the initiation needs to be Damwon Kia's. Wow, let's actually got a second charge.
Yeah. Second Rift Herald actually getting a lot of value this time around. And yeah, I mean, you look at the score lines here. You see 0-2 Nasus, 0-3 Pantheon, but they got the kills where they want them for the most part, right? Jinx has 3 of them. Udyr's scaling really well. And yeah, things are going pretty well there. Obviously, this has been a problem for Afreeca where they have this insane early game and then it's like, oh wait, Fly gets caught, King gets caught, what's going on, guys? And then it kind of all falls apart. We saw a little bit of that here as Damwon Kia did convert.
Yeah, there's just nobody even nearby. And the pathing of this was really well done by Canyon. Didn't walk through the river where there are 2 wards. So, very well played. The burn damage is too much. And Fly is unfortunately just not enough to save them. He's already so low before the Lehens' perfect Lantern is here. Like, it was almost the sickest play ever. It was still sick, but
yeah,
just, you know, results-wise, it didn't work out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see how Damwon Kia tried to win it from here. You know, thinking about their win conditions, right? They're going to have to deal with this Jinx, and Bang has a little bit of a propensity to get caught at times, so I'll be curious to see how his Jinx does go. But certainly a lot of damage in their comp as well on the side of Damwon Kia with the Forest and the Lucian, alongside of Lilia, obviously, who does put up some pretty nice numbers.
Yeah, I feel like Bang's positioning is very consistent. They're going to commit here.
Yeah, they're going in. The hook actually will sail wide. Khan not electing to engage onto that one. Dread continuing here.
This is a really awkward fight to take for Afreeca. They really want to get onto this Cloud Soul, or Ocean Soul rather, point.
Yeah.
But I think that this is like not a fight you can take anymore. Pantheon can ult in, Fly can join, but already so much chip damage done.
Yeah, the poke is actually really nice. And take a look at this. Bang is below half health now. The engage will come in from the side of Damwon Kia, and Dread is just going to get blown up. And take a look at the damage from Khan as well. The turnaround up on the top side, you can see Keen and Fly trying to get on in there, but they will not be successful. Totally kited out by Damwon as the Ocean Soul, or Dragon rather, will go the way of Damwon Kia.
I don't know why I wanted to call it the Soul as well. Like, I'm like, Soul point.
Yeah.
But they do end up taking that one away. But that was a really I feel like unwinnable fight for Afreeca because their comp is so reliant on getting picks, and when Afreeca are split, like Pantheon, he can ult in, but that takes time. And if you're split like that and Damwon and Kia are grouped up and Khan is in position on Sion, like how can you actually make this fight work? They end up getting chipped down so low before the fight really began, at least from their terms, right? Because the fight begins here, where Damwon and Kia are like, yeah, I'm just going to keep shooting at you. And the poke coming through from the Varus is actually pretty massive. And like, when Khan goes through and splits them up, Fly is like, okay, I'm going to come in now. And there's just a huge disconnect between him and the rest of Afreeca. Like, Lehens is at half health, Bang is at 1/3 health, 1/4 health. And look at where Khan is, exactly where he needs to be, zoning out the damage. He ends up dying here, but you'll take that for wiping the rest of Afreeca Freecs, and the Fly engage comes through with it. He gets slept, King can't do anything here. There's just too much safe damage output in the front-to-back team fight.
Yeah. And they're able to kite out that Nasus so well. When you consider the speed of the Lilia, you've got the Lucian obviously just dashing around you, making you look silly. Nasus does need some kind of support. He's not just going to be able to 1v5. He'll just get kited out and destroyed. And we saw that a little bit there. Pantheon, not super effective so far. We'll see if he can do a little bit more as this game comes along, but it's not looking too great.
Yeah.
This game feels like it'll scale up, you know, even if Damwon and Kia take Ocean Drake by Ocean Drake so slowly, like, we're already 24 minutes into the game, and the fact that Afreeca got those 2 first Drakes is very important to buy themselves some time.
Okay, this is a big commitment. Showmaker's already, like, he's already kind of sussed it out. And
yeah.
He's, like, imagining what his tombstone will look like and what they'll say about him. And I mean, he doesn't know where they are exactly, so getting out of here is... it's difficult. He actually gets away though, but I mean, he loses his turret. It's a pretty solid win either way here for Afreeca, but like this is what Afreeca's comp is great at, right? And why they had so many successful skirmishes in the early game is like, okay, you pick somebody, you get a hook, and then you commit your Thresh ultimate, and then there's so much follow-up CC. And then it's hard to rotate, it's hard to get in there and counter that if you're Damwon Kia. But when you fight straight up 5v5, you have to be really decisive. You can't happy feet like they did in that last Drake fight. So I think Afreeca need to be trying to make plays like this, right? Like trying to go and catch a side laning Lucian is a great idea for what their comp is, to try to scale up a little bit faster to what will be a kind of tough late game based on how that last team fight went.
Yeah. I think a lot of the onus is going to fall onto the shoulders of Bang here, as we're getting an ult actually onto Lehens. He's like, I got to save Bang. Actually, no, you got to save yourself.
Bang's like, I'm not taking that.
Yeah. By the way, Bang has gotten so much solo farm and solo laning time. He's one of the highest levels on his team.
Yeah.
And Lehens is level 9. So level 14 Jinx right now for Bang.
I mean, Lehens was a second jungler in this game. Speaking of Lehens,
now we'll see if they can do maybe 20% of Sion's damage. They got Pantheon coming on in here. Okay, they got him to 40%. Good job, guys. Great work. You had him CC'd for about 10 seconds. Still doesn't matter.
The Jinx rocket as well. He's just like, looks like it's a mosquito or something.
Honestly, like, am I on Vision? How do they keep throwing stuff in here? How do they know I'm here?
I would like to go back. Excuse me. I mean, that's unfortunately the champion that you catch that you can't really get anything with. That's the fish you drop back in the ocean if you reel that one in. But look, I mean, Afreeca are grouped up and they're looking for big plays. I mean, the reason why Bang is so ahead in experience, like you were saying, is because he's been left to his own devices for so long, because Lehens has been roaming around the map so much, which is part of why he's down 1 level himself. And like, you know, if you catch something that's not a Sion, like if you catch any other champion in this case, you're probably going to get a pick or you're going to get a flash at least. So I appreciate the proactivity here, because Afreeca, when this next Drake spawns, this is going to be the real test of their composition. Can they actually front-to-back team fight? Like you said, a lot of this comes down to Bang, his positioning. If he doesn't get caught and he can kite and do consistent damage, he will do a lot. I mean, they were able to kill the Sion.
The question is, you know, can he kill the Sion and begin to actually hit the, you know, the soft underbelly of the Damwon composition before the rest of his team dies?
Exactly. And then,
I don't know if that's even possible.
Well, in the last fight, they were already almost dead before he started hitting the Sion, so that was another issue. I think this time we'll have a more fair fight for Afreeca Freecs over this Drake.
We'll have to wait and see. The Drake has spawned now. And Canyon's just going to walk over to that. And we do get another hook onto Beryl here. He's actually going to go for this one. They should have the damage. It's a big cask as Sion now coming in from the right side. He's able to dodge that one, and Keen will have to throw his ultimate up. Another hook will come in. Lehens takes so much damage on the backside of that. As meanwhile, we got this fight going down here. It's going to be a smite, and it will go the way of Canyon, although he will be going down. As Canyon, he was like, I'm not even fighting with you guys. I'm just going to try to take this dragon. Fly's coming in. He's looking for Ghost. They're going to have to settle for the Scion. He doesn't have his ult here, so he'll just flash away to get to safety. So the Drake does go the way. Oh, Showmaker getting frisky.
Gotta be careful, man.
Bang is getting in there. You know, he's got rocket range.
Doesn't have his
Showmaker
ult.
does have to be careful.
Yeah, if he had his ult, I mean, I think maybe he secures a kill there. He had flash too. But this was a very well-handled situation for Afreeca from start to finish. I mean, the smite steal is really unfortunate, obviously, but otherwise this is well handled. You don't try to rotate in where they have fast track. You look for the pick on the barrel, and again, this is a Lehens play. Then you get the dodge on Khan coming over, and Canyon has to make the tough call to actually come back up here instead of taking the Drake, which is really awkward. And look at the really nice disengage. Fly can ult in at any time. So Damwon Kia, yes, they get the Drake here, but they probably shouldn't have actually rotated in to try to save Canyon because, you know, obviously as we saw already, Fly is going to ult through as in live. Meanwhile,
yeah, I don't know if they can actually just run at this. They probably saw the back of Keen, but he's got teleport coming in from the right side, and he has over 500 stacks right now on his Nasus. He's getting pretty fed as this game comes along. He's got a good angle here. Damwon Kia have to back off of this one, I think.
this could actually be stolen as well.
Yeah, you could actually just, they have the damage here. Fly's gonna get caught though on the top side. Totally away from his teammates as another Lantern will come in, thankfully. Lehens is like the dad of this team right now. Bang is trying to run away now. The flash will come in as Dread will go down. They're trying to get onto the Jinx. They cannot quite do it as Khan will be able to zone him out for now. But still, at the end of the day, it looks like Canyon went down to Nasus as well as we stand and ends up being just a 2 for 2.
Yeah, 2 for 2. And crucially, of course, they stopped the Baron. They weren't able to secure it themselves, but they were able to stop that from going down, which was a really ambitious call on the side of Damwon Kia. I feel like Damwon Kia haven't been playing around how their comp works very well. Like, they're setting up for these really ambitious fights where they're either not in the right position or, in this case, they were in position on the Baron, but it's like you don't have, we're not at that stage of the game where you have enough of a lead. Now, Fly does end up getting caught in the top part of the map, but there's a good Lantern from Lehens to save him. And now the Scion ult comes through and you're like, okay, we're going in. And this is when Afreeca decides to try to turn this. And it ends up being a 2 for 2, like you said, but I feel like they could have just cut their losses here. Very risky fight from both teams, right? Very risky to start the Baron and very risky to Afreeca to try to turn that one around.
So close. I mean, a kill one way or the other could have meant Baron as well, right? Yeah. You look at both of these comps, they have plenty of damage to get in there and take a Baron down, even with 3 people left available, so you gotta be careful taking fights like those, like you were saying, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like there's no reason to take a risk like that for Damwon Kia. I mean, the Nasus scaling is becoming somewhat of a problem, but
558.
Yeah, it's becoming somewhat of a problem, but at the same time, they have their comp scales decently well too. So it feels like in the front-to-back team fight, as long as you set those up, not when you're trying to get a Baron that has 2,000 health left, you're gonna have a lot of advantages as Damwon Kia, and that's how these team fights, when they have been front-to-back, have looked for them. So why give Afreeca the opportunity?
Yeah, you can see the difference in the jungle XP there, but at the same time, Bang has hit 4 items, and now they're looking for the engage. The Udyr just trying to run at him. The back massage coming out onto the Udyr. They're flashing away. Khan is actually taking some legit damage here. Keen trying to frontline for the Jinx, as we do get the Lilia sleep in, but the QSS will be used to get Fly out of danger. And Dread just gonna casually pick up this Scuttler.
That's actually a really important scuttle grab there, because that's going to guarantee they have permanent vision no matter what in this moment where Afreeca have to back and reset. So they have so much extra knowledge about whether or not Damwon Kia were going to try to rush over here to Baron or reset themselves. So that scuttle grab is actually very critical. Another critical moment in that skirmish too was when Fly actually blocked the bowling ball coming out from Cannon. When he ate that Swirl Seed, it meant that it was not going to be a big sleep. There was no other way to stop it from happening. From connecting, and that could have actually been a full team wipe and Baron and potentially even the game at 32 minutes in, you're going to get an inhibitor at least, and the game kind of opens up from there. So really heroic moment there from Fly to take one for the team.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed out because it has felt like he's been mostly useless in this game. Like some decent early to mid-game roams, but other than that, he's kind of just been fodder for the side of Damwon Kia, who've been taking him out time and time again. But he's mostly, you know, in frontline. He's got the Pantheon shield, and I feel like that's the most useful he's been for his team so far. Okay, right. Huge damage coming out already onto the Dragon.
This is exactly the fight that Damwon wants to take. Damwon Kia are like, yes, this is the fight.
Lehens took way too much poke damage to start this one out. But Afreeca, they're not backing down on this one. The Ocean Drake's gonna come down to the smite, and it goes to Canyon again! As that is a huge one, but now front to back with Bang, trying to chop him down, a big cast onto the Nasus, and they will be able to take Keen down here, as Fly now has to be that front line for Afreeca, but I don't think he's tanky enough. As we do get the hook in, Bang is gonna have to try to 1v5 this one. He gets the one kill, flashes away from the other one, but then gets swept up by the Lilia. Damwon Kia take the fight in a big way.
And can we just talk about Lehens in that fight though for a second? The guy is actually insane. He took so much damage. He lives till the end. He's got the lantern there. He's trying to set Bang up to turn it around, but it's not gonna happen. The guy is playing the game of his life. He's 1-0-9. He has no deaths in this game still, and I think Afreeca are going to lose it. He's going to be so sad because he has played an almost perfect game. But Damwon Kia, that's the kind of fight you want to take. You get to have the absolute utter control over the front line with the poke that they have, the range that they have. The Nasus unfortunately just struggles to actually get in there and do consistent damage, and they just front to back once again. And this is the same problem we had in the last Drake fight where, you know, Afreeca have taken a lot of chip damage before it even begins.
Yeah.
You see the Showmaker ult come out. Yeah, Canyon gets the steal, but like Afreeca are trying to turn around in this fight right now, and Damwon Kia are like, no, Khan's done his job. We're in perfect position. You get to sleep, front line's down. Once Nasus is dead, this is just an easy cleanup. They're just going to look at Fly until he dies.
Yeah, the Nasus does like nothing.
And look at Lehens down here. He's like, okay, Lantern out, gets the shield, stopwatch, and then the Lantern shield over the wall. He's a god, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. He's just having an insane match today. The question is it going to matter, right? The Nasus, we talked about it into the Scion. It kind of got, you know, it got good farm in this game as well, right? It was kind of flexed on. We had rotations, the lane swaps that were coming in, but it still didn't matter. He got good farm, and he still just looks useless against what we're seeing. I mean, Lilia and Lucian just eat him for breakfast. Like, the Nasus does nothing. He sits there, he gets charmed, he gets slowed, and then he dies. It's just nothing.
They needed to have more of a lead, or they needed to have more control over side lanes and get more picks in this game. I mean, stuff like this should have been happening a lot earlier, and unfortunately it's Khan Scion, so I don't think they even get him. But you know, the compositions front to back and straight up objective fights where there are 10 players in the fight, that's where Afreeca is struggling here. And it's because of partially the Nasus, but also the composition of Damwon Kia is great at that too, with the Lilia on top of it all.
And Bang did 8,000 damage, over 8,000 damage in the last team fight. It doesn't matter. The majority of that is eaten by Khan, who's probably got over 4,000 health at this point in time. And, you know, again, it comes down to, can he actually chip away at the front line before the rest of his team dies? And the answer has been no, as they're just trying to hard engage now, but the Lilia is played perfectly by Canyon. Khan gets into the back line, takes out the Udyr, and Keen is left to just run away once again. Bang trying desperately to frontline, but he gets stunned up by the Scion, and the poke is too much. The flash comes in from Canyon, and it looks like Damwon Kia will be able to take down game number 1.
Yeah, it looks like it. Very much a objective-based team fighting composition that Damwon Kia put together. Even with the Varus, a lot more meta, right? And it did end up being played very well. They had their own lane swaps to